And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Tuesday, May 13th. I am Josh Engelman. I'm joined by Eric Lindquist. We are brought to you by Stokastic. Sign up with us. Win DFS tournaments. Be Steve Buzzard. Win baseball
Oh my
and
God.
basketball. How about that? Who likes 100,000 in both? Steve Buzzard does. You could do that. Sign up at Stokastic. Pacers looking to close it out. 8.5-point favorites in Cleveland. Denver, 10-point dogs in OKC. Let's have some fun. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Eric, what's going on, man?
Not much. Obviously, the thing we have to talk about first, because, we got two games. We can cover these pretty easily. Obviously, we're waiting on Mitchell news, which I think we both assume he's going to be playing tonight. Let's talk about what happened yesterday. Jason Tatum goes down, Achilles injury, and they're down 3-1 in that series. But obviously, this changes potentially the long-term outlook of the Celtics and what their core looks like next year and how they maneuver pieces. And I mean, Brad Stevens is pretty good at what he does. I think he did a pretty good job of constructing this team in its current iteration. Has it underperformed? Did Jaylen Brown play very well? No. But Josh, what the hell do the Celtics do now that Jason Tatum had surgery on his ruptured Achilles?
I'll touch that in 1 second, but I got to rub this in John C's face for being extra special wrong. Josh's worst take was saying Horford is a surefire Hall of Famer. He's 24% to make it according to Basketball Reference. Well, you read dumb data, so that's pretty cool. If you go ahead and take a look at this model, doesn't include anything super relevant to the Basketball Hall of Fame, i.e., college basketball, which is included, where Al Horford has 2 national titles and will make him waltz into the Basketball Hall of Fame, which is not included in this random calculation on Basketball Reference that has no real tie to anything at all. I don't know what the Boston Celtics are going to do.
Those
really
are Joe
don't.
Kim Noah ships. Those are Joe Kim Noah ships.
I got into it with Siege yesterday, positively, I might add, but I don't think they can do the Golden State thing and like rando tank a year. You can't trust it. We just watched multiple straight years of all the worst teams not get the first pick. So I don't think you could rely on something like that. And Zach Lowe said it, like I just think they're too good to even try to bottom out. You'd have to get rid of everything at that point. And at that point, like, why would you want to do that? I think they're still good, as evidenced by the fact that they're like more than home court advantage favorites in game 5, which I think is interesting. It was 4.5 the last I looked. Stands to reason they are. No, here comes chat. They're still a better basketball team than the Knicks on paper. No one's going to say that. No one's going to agree with it. That's what the betting market is telling us. They're probably not going to win this series. And they got to shed some salary because they don't want to spend $900 billion in luxury tax payments next year. They're still really good. They're like absolutely a home court team if they want to be next year. But how much money do you want to spend? It's tricky, man. It just blows. It's just awful for the league.
Yeah, and it's so weird that the Celtics and the Boston Celtics did such a good job. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Boston Celtics did such a good job of like load managing all of these guys throughout the entire regular season. It would be, hey, Brown, you're going to sit this one. Tatum's going to sit this one. Porzingis has had weird illnesses, which makes sense of why he had some of these late scratches later in the year. But they did such a good job of like not overextending anybody with the sole goal of trying to repeat. And, obviously that's kind of by the wayside in dire straits, but like, I mean, you're just so good with the salary implications of some of these teams. And so I'm just curious, if you're Brad Stevens, like what can you even do? Like what do they even do in the offseason? I don't think Giannis is necessarily on the table, although, there's a world where either Brown or Tatum or something, it's like, well, if we're going to be tanking, you could move one of the pieces, potentially have something coming back. 2 years ago, the talk was always about moving Brown. 3 years ago, about Brown potentially being somebody that didn't necessarily fit, and he ended up being your finals MVP. I don't know. It's just such a weird conversation to be having about the Celtics. Didn't expect this 2 days ago, obviously, but a lot changes quickly.
I truly hate everybody in chat.
I'm kind of like
Truly.
loving watching you read it. That's why I wanted to bring it up from the onset, because I think it's just such an incredible thing. It's such an incredible thing today.
I would much rather have Cade Cunningham than Darius Garland because he's bigger than him. At the moment that I said it, I would have put Darius Garland ahead of Cade Cunningham 2.5 months ago in my all NBA list, but people think that means that is a definitive ranking of how I feel about people permanently for some strange reason.
It's also
Cade Cunningham, by the
funny
way, ended up ahead of Darius Garland on my all NBA list by the time I finished it, but neither here
There you
nor
go.
there.
Yeah, well, everything requires context, and then you say that you don't like somebody for a DFS slate, and all of a sudden you don't like them as a basketball player. That's ridiculous. And then there's other times when you're assessing, a long-term outlook of a player. Like, who would you rather have, Garland or Cade Cunningham? I think we're all taking Cunningham in that situation. He's younger and better at the moment, but whatever. Calvin and Hobo, he's pretty good at betting, so you should probably listen to him.
That's very true. That's very true. And this is the perfect explanation. Josh is sharp. He just speaks in absolute terms more than he would if you were talking to other sharp people as opposed to talking to the YouTube chat. Exactly.
Oh, man.
Me must use less words sometimes. It's tough. It's tough. Want to talk some basketball here?
Yeah, that was a fun 8 minutes.
We're going to go Nuggets Thunder first on the off chance that we get weird Donovan Mitchell news. So let's just punt Indy Cleveland until 6:30 until we get this one. Let's talk Denver and OKC. 2-2 heading to Oklahoma City. The last game was a rock fight. Disgusting. I don't know what we're getting here. Heading back to OKC, but the double-digit line in Game 5 is kind of gross. My question to you is, what do you want to do with an $11,400 Nikola Jokic?
I still do not know. So I did bet the under of his 50.5 PRA. I mean, obviously, Game 1 was an evisceration in OKC. Is it possible? Yes, but the more I run it, I mean, it's now pretty insanely juiced on that under, but 2-2, it's not like a must win for either team, which is funny because now we're going to get into it feels like we've had so many 3-1 series, and we've got another one going today. We'll have another one going with my Timberwolves tomorrow. Just feels like there's so many of these spots where it's like, oh, we can ramp the minutes up. I don't know what to make of this. This just feels like OKC goes out and dog walks them finally in a game. Like, I don't know. That happened in the Game 2. You got the sneaky win there if you're Denver in Game 3. Game 4 didn't go your way towards the end of that. As you said, a rock fight is the perfect way of describing it. I think with Mitchell in, it's going to make it more difficult for me to get to some Jokic, but that might also drop his ownership. I mean, we were going to potentially get some value pieces on the Cleveland side that I don't think are going to exist in the same way anymore. You're going to be playing Peyton Watson. You're going to be playing TJ McConnell again, who, obviously that ended up working out as a pretty big stand for me the other day. Like, we do have guys in like the sub 4,500 realm. We can play Caruso ad nauseum to some extent too, where this series is just tailor-made for him. But like, I don't love the idea of playing like 50% Jokic. I mean, I've just been jamming him on these slates with no reward for it. It would really suck to hit eject now and kind of be on the losing end of it, but I'm currently underweight. I don't love his outlook here. Hartenstein's been doing a really good job the last 3. And as good as what Jokic is, he's the best player on the planet. He's 11,400 against the best defensive team on the planet that has found ways to not completely stop him, but like the assist rate has just gone down, down, down throughout the series. Yeah. And I think OKC understands that it's not necessarily about what they do on Jokic, it's what they do on everybody else. But Jokic, with the assist rate, is attached to everybody else there. And Oklahoma City has done such a better job in these playoffs of rebounding because of Hartenstein's existence. So I don't know, Josh. It just feels like a spot where I'm going to be sickly underweight to Jokic and watch him put up 70, but I'm going to have to live with it.
I had like 83% earlier today. I just finished this sim now, and I'm going to copy it over to see where I land. But I assume it's a comparable spot. And as I drop it in, it's 67. I can handle that. The interesting part to me is going to be when I refresh this and see, okay, so while I am 2xing Jokic, there is a tiny interesting piece of all of this in that I'm also over the field on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That I feel pretty good about, and that points me in a very specific direction because I'm way under on Donovan Mitchell, and I'm okay with that. I'll take my chances. After that, we're already $1,600 away from Shai. We're $3,000 away from Jokic, so we're just in a different tier. I will happily be over on Jokic and Shai in this spot. Hope this game is the game that stays out there. Maybe it's competitive, whatever. I think there's enough pay down options where you can find the value that you're looking for. So I'm actually okay with being over on Jokic, but only because I also have Shai. If I were light on Shai, I'd be terrified because I don't like Denver here.
Yeah, it's hard to like Denver in this spot. I mean, that's your 10-point dog. You've got this much closer, obviously, on the Denver side. And I will say this too. You want to talk about Josh's out-term outlook on things. I can remember conversations we've had. I'm a listener. I remember you not liking Denver through the regular season at the very beginning of the year. And now things are different where you're going to guarantee yourself tons of minutes for these starters. And Jamal Murray has come along in a way that I don't think any of us expected after being benched by the Canadian Olympic team, playing minimal minutes. And, God forbid we have to hear Van Gundy talk about the difference between Jamal Murray in the regular season and the postseason again. Like I'm really, really not okay with that conversation point being brought up 15 times every telecast. But from a DFS perspective, I totally like the idea of attaching Jokic SGA, hoping it stays a little bit more competitive, which is what you have projected. I am much more on the SGA side of things. I do think Donovan Mitchell ends up getting this artificial downgrade to ownership. And if he's playing, I'm not going to assume he's just 100% and ready to rock. I mean, the guy just set up the second half, but there's also a world where with more public money in this, we've seen this in every single slate. It was Mobley last Friday when I just jammed that one down my throat. Like there's so many spots. I should not have said that. Chat's going to make fun of that. But anyway, I definitely like the idea of what you're doing there. I'm just getting to the SGA side. I'm getting to the Donovan Mitchell side as a spend up. I'm playing more Mobley, a little bit of Pascal Siakam, who's back in my life a little bit. Jokic, I'm not going to fade him by any means, but 24% in my first run is not what I was looking for.
24. Okay, I can handle that. Well, let's talk through the rest of Denver then. I guess. Well, let's establish this game first. How do you feel about it? Are you assuming OKC covers here? Are you expecting competitive? Are you leaning Denver?
OKC, definitely. I do think there's I think the fun way to go about building this slate is guys on the OKC side whose names we haven't said yet. I do think this ends up being just an absolute evisceration on the OKC side. You don't want to speak in absolutes too much, but we've yet to see OKC play to their capabilities. I think Denver has exceeded what I expected them to do in this series by landslide because Jokic and Gordon have just been insane. Christian Brown has been pretty darn good as well. Jamal Murray has had some really nice spots as well. I would say as a whole, Denver's surpassed my expectations. OKC, I don't think they've played well yet, Josh. They had Cason Wallace and Aaron Wiggins as kind of the saviors there of game 4 coming in. And I mean, is there a game out of these 4 that you thought outside of game 2 where they really put the schmacking on? Is there a game that they played in Denver in the last 2 that you thought, hey, OKC, that was a B. That was a B basketball game on their end?
I want to judge their offense and their defense on separate grading scales because I think their defense is really awesome and has had A+ level stuff. I mean, they are really making this a miserable experience for Nikola Jokic. I think that this might be the best defense that has ever existed in the NBA history.
I think it's a lot.
Conversation for another day. If they don't win the title, then I'm not going to get a lot of steam on that argument. But I think they're doing everything they can defensively, and I think they're finding it a little difficult to generate quality offense when it's not the same sort of rule set in the regular season. So it's gumming them up a little bit. It's part of the reason I wanted them to go out there and get another creator at the deadline with all of their assets, because I thought that this was something that could happen. And we are seeing it right now, but I don't want to undersell their defense. It's insanely good.
Chat is just going on one again. I love when you speak in these absolutes. It's so good. It's so good.
The problem here is like people are just acting like their entire regular season stats aren't available to be looked at, and their defensive stats aren't able to be looked at. Like it's not. Yeah. We know what this is. We know how many points they allow. We know what the league allows. We know how to compare those numbers across different seasons. This isn't complicated. I mean, I know adding and subtracting becomes incredibly difficult for some people here, but you might have to take off shoes and socks to get to numbers above 10. We'll see what we need to do. I mean, if they win the NBA title, are we really going to think that that's a crazy statement?
No, I don't think of it that way too. I mean, I'm not even having like the athletes are better these days than what they were once upon a time debate. Like that's not even part of it for me. No. Just by the numbers. I mean, we're talking a plus 7.1 adjusted defensive rating this year. It's just ridiculous. And the other thing that comes with it is like they have guys who are great defenders like Alex Caruso, who they don't even utilize at full strength in the regular season. There are so many fourth quarters that are baked into that data that doesn't get shown out because it's blowouts, and it still gets evaluated the same way that you look at a first, second, and third quarter. So it's almost like unfair to say that, a team puts up 30 against the third string Oklahoma City Thunder, and we evaluate them on the same tier. I mean, I would like to look at like first through third quarter data for OKC in the regular season relative to every first through third quarter data from now until like there's not a close, like there might be a close second, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
They were 2.5 points better than the second ranked team in defensive rating this year, and 7.5 points better than league average.
Mm-hmm. Insane.
Like, we don't have to think that they just like sucks for some. Why can I say that? But like, everybody has to treat them like they're garbage. The reaction is just like, that is impossible. Era means nothing. We can compare defensive ratings to league averages for that season, and then you can compare everything across eras if you want to. Again, I said maybe. That doesn't mean I'm invalidating other defenses. You guys got to learn how to calm down. ESPN is ruining your brains. These people are just melting your thought process. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy.
What is this? Zero DFS.
What do you want to do with Westbrook?
Guys, we're waiting for Donovan Mitchell. We got to get Donovan Mitchell. Once that's official, we can feel much better about life. But
it's game 5 of 2 series we've seen quite a bit. What do you want to know?
Yeah. What revelatory piece do you think you're getting to that I'm not, or that I'm not that you are? Like, are we going insane like 40-point blowout and you want to play some Julian Strother and Zeke Naji? No, I'm not going to talk about that. That's not how I'm going to build my lineups. I like the Michael Porter Jr. piece again. This game, I'm just going to play a ton of him. He fits very easily into lineups 4,700. And now that I don't have to entertain Max Strus in the same way that I don't have to entertain DeAndre Hunter in the same way. Like Strus, I'm still going to get to, but he's already 30% owned. So it's not like I'm going to make some stand on him with Donovan Mitchell in, if that ends up being the case, and what I assume to be the case. So Michael Porter Jr., I get it. You're going to run into some of these games where it's not pretty. And, obviously I am looking at the blowout to some extent, but you still only have 2 games to be selecting guys from. He's 4,700 during the regular season. We're talking about this guy being a mid 6K guy almost the entire time, got up to, 7K range towards the end of March, beginning of April, as they were making a push. And that was with Mike Malone at the reins, who's obviously a Russell Westbrook stan. So that kind of changes the complexion of that too. Michael Porter Jr., definitely the piece that I have the most of on the Denver side.
He's a weird dude, man. I'm having trouble figuring out what to do with him, because I feel like if I take it, I'm taking the stand right now. I've got 55%, but it strikes me as a situation where I have 55% of Michael Porter Jr. and he plays like dog balls, and it's Russell Westbrook and Peyton Watson. But I mean, 4,700 at small forward on a 2-game slate in the late game. To me, that's just like preposterously too low for what we've seen so far.
Yeah, you got to play it. And again, if Hunter and, if I could have played more Strus or had to play more Strus, I would have done that too, but I don't have to. So I think Michael Porter Jr. just is the guy that seamlessly fits into that. And then we'll get to the OKC side where I do have some interesting guys that I do want to be boosting and probably get more exposure to.
The only thing that I'm happy about Jokic. I'm nervous about Porter, but I am happy to be light on Jamal Murray.
Yep.
I just don't love the spot. There's just too many dudes on the opposite side.
Yeah.
Speaking of the opposite side, what do we do with their bench dudes? Because it feels like it's a Caruso day. 24% ownership doesn't seem that problematic.
No, and everybody is just playing the recency bias game of absolutely everything. The guy played 28 minutes in a competitive spot last time. Played 23 in the one previous. Everybody got burned by the 10-minute game. I mean, he's 4,300. That's $300 cheaper than what he was the previous two. As I said, I have interest in a lot of these OKC guys more. Alex Caruso's at the top of the list, and Cason Wallace was huge for them last game. And he was a guy who was he was their fifth starter while Chet Holmgren was out. So it's not like that surprising to me that he could be a piece that walks into more minutes. But let me tell you, I am uncomfortable with him because I think his ownership has a chance to really go up after what we saw last time out. He's played 21, 20, 23 minutes in 3 of the 4. He's found ways to impact the game. Obviously is all right defensively. And he's not Alex Caruso by any means. And at 3,200, if you are going to play more Jokic, he is definitely your path to doing it. But I'm not playing as much Jokic, and I am playing more of the Caruso side and more of the Aaron Wiggins side. So, the Wallace piece has the shooting guard eligibility, but, what does that get you as you're piecing through it? I think the Aaron Wiggins piece, small forward, Christian Brown is your most popular guy at the position other than Michael Porter Jr. I'm going to be lower on Christian Brown, although, obviously I'm hoping that we run into some type of an OKC blowout. I think Aaron Wiggins is just that guy who can really, really benefit and go from 15 to 18 or 20 minutes, if it's a whole fourth quarter, awesome. And Wallace, I just don't know that we just can predict him going out and going 3 for 3, 2 for 3 from 3, like we've seen in 2 of the previous 3. And that really makes it tough for me. I think there's the same kind of a floor for him than Caruso, but if you told me one of the two got steamed up for this game, just coming off of box score watchers and more casual money in these playoffs, I think Cason Wallace does. And that just has me going to the Caruso side a lot more.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous about my Caruso exposure, or sorry, my Cason Wallace exposure, because I am 2xing the field right now. I would have expected to get to more of Aaron Wiggins because I would have assumed I wanted more at small forward and power forward because of Shea, but it's just getting me a lot of SGA and a lot of Cason Wallace right now. Now this will look a little bit different. I didn't run any boosted projection. I tend to boost the second game a little bit more.
Yep.
So that will, that's just probably just going to make these dudes go up, honestly. But for right now, I have a bit more Cason Wallace than I would like. I'm happy to have Caruso. The guy that scares me right here is that I don't have a lot of Jalen Williams. And if OKC really beats the brakes off of them today, I think Jalen Williams probably had a lot to do with it.
He's been really good. I mean, he's quite good at basketball. I don't really have a ton of him either. I think it's more what's going on with Cleveland. Evan Mobley's cheaper, and that's kind of wild to me when you think about this not being an elimination game for OKC. And OKC has some pieces that they'll go to off the bench here, with DeAndre Hunter kind of mixing in. Ty Jerome's minutes have been down. I gotta think that Mobley is just really, really good chalk right now at the moment. They're still huge favorites. I mean, it's not like sports books have just they're pretty good at this. And so we can use that data and that data point to kind of help us and inform and let us know that like Jalen Williams minutes are probably not going to be comparable to Evan Mobley's minutes. The outlook for some of these other pieces, whether it's Casey Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, Alex Caruso, we're kind of, I mean, I'm nitpicking a little bit here and there, but like for me, I just know that these 3,200, 3,100 pieces that get you to more Jokic, and that's kind of the build and that's the path to it. If I'm going to play lower on Jokic and make like an informed stand there to some extent and trim even down like from the 24% I currently have, I'm probably getting more of the centers in the first game. I'm probably getting more Hartenstein in this one. I'm probably getting some Chet. I'm probably getting, some of these other ancillary pieces, maybe a Jalen Williams dart or two. I like that you even have like 4% there because I've been contemplating what I want to do with him. He might just be good at basketball too. And like, it's like play a little bit here, a little bit there. I mean, he's a triple double machine when everybody's out, but like, I just look at Oklahoma City as like having other options. Cleveland doesn't have any option other than just play Mobley a ton, play Garland as much as he can, play Mitchell as much as he can, play Allen, without being an idiot. Like, just don't foul, be there for Turner. And if you need to go small for shooting, you go small for shooting. But like Evan Mobley being 300 less is just kind of scaling everything that direction. I have 78% of him, whereas I have like, right around that 10% number you do for Jalen Williams.
Got to hit the super chat from our boy Sean Jeezy. Said ran up a couple back-to-back mini-max wins the last few days. So shout out to you guys for the content and data. Always the best in the industry, no question. If you're forced to play someone sub 10% owned tonight, who is it? So just reading off the screen, the only guys that I have on my screen right now that are sub 10% owned are Peyton Watson, Sam Merrill, Jalen Williams, and Ty Jerome. And I think I have a pretty clear answer to that one, but do you have anybody else that it would be?
I think it's Sam Merrill for me or Peyton Watson. I think they're actually pretty close between the two of them. What?
Mine was Jalen Williams, so we're recommending everybody.
Okay. Yeah, those are your three that are in play for it. I mean, 10% owned. There's one guy in Ty Jerome that, like, this is not going well at the moment for Ty Jerome. This is really, really not going well. And the big problem I have is he's 4,800. You needed to have Garland out in order for him to get to 29 and 28 minutes at home in the first two games. He went 8 for 21 for 14. He obviously was very, 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 very involved. My big issue is that you have Mitchell and Garland more than likely tandeming up. You'd need something to happen to him or Mitchell to be much more hurt or something. Those are the three guys that we're looking at. And I mean, I've always been a Jalen Williams stan. He's at center, so maybe I should probably get to a little bit. Again, I've just been contemplating if I wanted to try to get to any. But Merrill has a clear role, which is go in and shoot and, spread the floor. Peyton Watson has a clear thing that is basically play defense, be useful in that capacity. Like, I'd rather have the shooter, I think, between the two of them. And then Jalen Williams, I think, has utility just positionally.
Sean G said, are you guys saying I should play all of them? I'm down. Yes, that was the message that I tried to put out. I hope you caught that. Yes, play all sub 10% owned guys. Print.
No, the only guy that I've like, Sam Merrill now questionable. What the hell?
Great work there. That's actually important.
Yeah, it is. DeAndre Hunter looks better. Like, that's going to be that's DeAndre Hunter's music.
So, I mean, we had Sam Merrill in for 17.8 minutes. They need to go somewhere. That absolutely makes DeAndre Hunter more interesting, Ty Jerome more interesting, Dean Wade more interesting, or at least like can be interesting, I guess. Have to assume he's not playing. Don't want to know how he picked up a neck injury out of nowhere. Trying to find more playing time from Kenny Atkinson.
Benedict Mathurin.
I'm assuming we're on the same page here that we think he is now not playing a basketball game today.
I do not think he is playing. But the other thing, Josh, is that like we got to add a couple minutes to Garland and Mitchell too. I mean, that's the other thing is like, I think this probably speaks to Mitchell being a little bit healthier. Maybe, I mean, if Sam Merrill can't go, he can't go. But like, if they're just all right with it, where it's just like, all right, Sam, like, we're just going to play our two main guards, our three main guards when you bring Ty Jerome in, and just play a ton of them. And, like, don't worry about it. We're just going to kind of like you want to lose these kind of games with your best players playing too much. You don't want to play them too little. You know what I mean? Like, you're down 3-1 and it changes your franchise's outlook. And Kenny Atkinson wins Coach of the Year. You've already fired one guy who did really well for you, but, obviously isn't as good as Kenny Atkinson. But like, there's so many things and dominoes that fall as a result of this. Like, you just want to play Mobley, Garland, Mitchell. Like, you play these dudes as much as they humanly possibly can under the circumstances, despite injuries, despite everything else. Like with Merrill, though, the first thing that comes to mind is DeAndre Hunter, purely because he's already somebody that was at 4,200 where he was like going to be interesting. If there's foul trouble for anybody, obviously I think he slides in. Garland or Mitchell can obviously handle the ball. That's not an issue. Sam Merrill, that was never going to be his job. Ty Jerome, I mean, I'm very curious to see what happens to Ty Jerome's ownership. See if like he actually gets to double digit land. He has to now, I would think, but
he probably ends up around 10.
I just think Hunter definitely is the guy who's going to benefit the most. He'll change the most, I think, in terms of ownership, and probably the guy I want to get to more.
Yeah, it's probably him. I mean, he's a 0.89 guy. He was 21% optimal, 20% owned. Got to figure that jumps up to like in that 25 to 30. Donovan Mitchell will start. Jumps up to that 25 to 30 range. Got to figure Ty Jerome jumps up to around 10% optimal, 10% owned. Dean Wade probably gets to like 5. And then just incremental little bumps to the Cleveland starters. Right now, I've got a ton of Evan Mobley, 68%. You had talked about him previously. For right now, he's my most exposed guy. I basically have a pack of 5 dudes significantly more than everybody else. Mobley, Jokic, Michael Porter Jr., SGA, and then Miles Turner, who we're going to get to. Cavs will start Garland, Mitchell, Strus, Mobley, Allen.
Sam Merrill
ruled out. That didn't
Wow.
take long.
So basically 7.5, maybe 8, if you want to count like half for Dean Wade, half for Isaac Okoro. But like for me, the most is going to come into DeAndre Hunter, and then incremental bumps, as you brought up, Garland, Mitchell, Strus. I think they all deserve a little bit of a notch up, but waiting for that to hit, and 26 minutes. But, didn't see that one coming. That's for sure.
No, it's just a weird one. I wonder what's going on.
I think his neck hurts.
We'll see. Evidently. Josh, favorite candies broke a tooth. You did? Are you asking me if I broke a tooth on my favorite candy? I think you're telling me that you broke a tooth. Did you break it on my favorite candy?
What are we
Which
talking
would be
about?
Nerds Clusters? Guitar Z-Man in chat.
Guitar Z-Man's from South Dakota. He's good people.
Okay. Yes, you broke it on... Yeah, I don't even know what yes could mean there. Anyway.
And you ate the whole wheel of cheese?
We're going to be getting Cleveland updates right now. We're going to be waiting on this projections update. Let's talk through a little bit of the Indiana Pacers here, because I think they are oddly the most uninteresting team in the history of a slate. Here's the ownership on DraftKings. Everybody that is like a legitimate part of the rotation, save for Thomas Bryant, is between 21 and 36% owned. 21, 23, 25, 25, 21, 23. So 6 different guys have either 21, 23, or 25% owned. The only guys separating from the pack are Pascal Siakam at 6,300, who's 35% owned, and Miles Turner at 6,100, who's 30% owned. I have a ton of Miles Turner right now. I think that price tag and this setup for today, he's really easy to get to for me, especially even with having Jokic like I do. I think the point per dollar value of Miles Turner looks great. But when it comes to these Pacers guys, it's just kind of like a shoulder shrug for me. They all look so similar relative to salary. I don't have Halliburton, so do with that what you will.
Yeah, I'm playing more McConnell than you are. I'm playing the same amount of Halliburton you are. TJ McConnell's been my boy, my stand throughout all of these playoffs, it feels like. Just continues. I mean, he's 4,100. He's played so well that again, I think it's a little bit of a different outlook for him here than what it's been in the past. And I'm having to like throw last year out of the window to some extent, but we've got him. I'll update this here as well, because I'm sure Hunter's probably going to take a little bit of this away from me. But I'm just such a fan of what he's been doing for the Pacers when he's on the floor. And, part of the reason we haven't seen the same ceiling for Halliburton is they trust TJ McConnell to come in. He's been playing really good defense too. I'm not sure if anybody's picking up on this. He has just been hounding the ball without fouling, doing really, really like not things that I've noticed. I mean, obviously when you're undersized, you've got to do a lot of things right, but he generally makes a lot of the right plays. He's generally doing pretty much everything on a floor, filling up a box score. And I'm just going to continue riding the wave. He's at a point guard position that when you're lower on some of the other pieces on some of these slates, I mean, we've had a lot of these identical slates. It just makes it easy for him to be one of those salary savers for me. Have him in 40% of lineups at the moment. But again, I think Hunter will probably trim a little bit of that.
Unfortunately, I have more of Obi Toppin, a guy that I generally don't enjoy getting to.
He played great last game.
Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, Turner. Business as usual for the Pacers today.
Love Mathurin just destroying last slate for me. That was really nice of him. Thanks, pal.
Who wins this game?
I think Cleveland wins. It'll be competitive. I would be inclined. I already bet the +8. It's at 7.5. Did it get back to 8 now that Mitchell's in? I don't know, but I thought it was a little bit of a wide number.
Okay. I've thought these numbers in this series have been weird the whole time, but this strikes me as a game that Cleveland wins. I think that if it's not great early, I think it could go pretty south pretty quick. But I'm assuming Cleveland picks up a dub here, and then the Pacers finish them off in 6.
Yep, I think that sounds like the chalk.
The FanDuel side for the Pacers, it's a little bit different. You've got Halliburton leading the charge at 36% owned, right at 30 for Nembhard, Nesmith, Siakam, Mathurin. Turner ends up a little bit lower owned, but that's just the FanDuel situation of only having one center spot, but he's still 25, as is McConnell. Toppin is the guy bringing up the rear at around 14%. So they do look a little bit better on the FanDuel side than they do on the DraftKings side.
Yep, and they should. Yeah, it completely makes sense looking at some of the tags for guys. I mean, 6,300 Pascal Siakam. I mean, what a I mean, that just wild. It's wild to see that number next to his name, but there's just enough contributors there. I mean, Nembhard's taken on a little bit more of an offensive outlook. Aaron Nesmith has too at times. Benedict Mathurin off the bench. TJ McConnell been pretty assertive. Like, it's got to feel kind of nice to not have to be the clear-cut number 2 offensively all the time. You look at the props. I mean, he's still the second listed guy, but it looks pretty darn efficient. And, Miles Turner going scorched earth on the world. I mean, 6,100 for Miles Turner today on DK. And then, looking at the FanDuel side too. I mean, he's just an easy guy to click on. The Jokic piece on FanDuel, I'm more inclined to play it and just kind of like take the raw points, 11.5 for him over there. So a little bit different than what I'm doing over on DK. So if you're playing FanDuel, just kind of keep that in mind. Like, talked about being underweight to him. I don't think I would be underweight to 36% Nikola Jokic if I were playing FanDuel today.
Yeah, that one center spot just really changes up the way you need to think about Jokic.
Agreed.
All right, guys, hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. We got about 19 minutes to go until we get to lock. Don't forget, Greg and I will be live on Playback after this, playback.tv/Stokastic. We're live there right now. Eric's sharing OddsShopper in the Portfolio EV tool. Bunch of recommended bets are on the screen if you want to go snag those. And you can come and watch the games with us. We're going to watch Pacers and Cavs for an hour. Should be a decent watch. In the history of Greg and I watching the Cleveland Cavaliers, it has never gone well for however I am exposed to Darius Garland, currently neutral to the field. So that will be an interesting dynamic. I have no idea how Darius Garland's supposed to play when I have no vested interest. When I have a lot, he sucks. When I don't have a lot, he's the guy that I talked about in a show 2.5 months ago because everything goes in.
So for those
We'll
guys,
see what that ends up being.
it always feels like I will know when I see which is the lineup that I'm cheering for at the end of the night. It's like when you have that one guy, it's like you could have dead neutral to the field Garland, but if you have him in that lineup, you know that he's going to fall flat in the third, fourth quarter if you need it. Like those are the guys that truly actually end up haunting you. For me, it's generally in baseball. If I need to have anything from Cal Raleigh to win a tournament, you can guarantee I get the opposite. If I need to avoid a triple dong from Cal Raleigh, you best believe he's putting up 55 against me. And I've had good betting results with him, but DFS, man, Cal Raleigh hates me.
Sean Jeezy wants me to pick a side on Garland so he knows what to do. I mean, if I had to guess, I'm going to end up with less than what I have right now, depending on how big Garland's move was for Merrill being out. If it's incremental, then I'm going to end up with less because I'm going to have Denver and OKC projected better whenever I inevitably run. But if Garland got some sort of bump that I don't know about, then it could be problematic. You're locking him in now? There you go. That's smart. That's honestly, I think that's a really sound move here for this specific instance. It has been proven over time.
It is one of the more fun recurring bits of the Darius Garland run. But we just got a projections update, which makes me happy.
Outstanding. Projections just hit, which means ownership should be coming back in the next minute or so. I can get that all updated on the screen, and then we can start figuring out what we're actually playing. In the interim, guys, if you're interested in sports betting or pick'em sites, Portfolio EV is the tool that you want to use. It's easy. It's awesome. It just works. And we have content covering basically the entire gamut of what you can do with it, whether it's bankroll challenges, daily picks. I'm probably missing a billion different things. We probably have 7 or 8 different unique pieces of content for the Portfolio EV tool every day. And that doesn't even count live streams and shorts and stuff like that. We're all over it because it works. Take a market-based approach to beating the books. Use odds boost calculators. Use parlay builders. Shop around for the best lines, mobile entry, build your own portfolio based on all of the historical recommendations we've ever had. Find your niche, and you'll just get a pop-up on your phone that a bet is ready for you. Click it, go bet it. It is that simple. You can check it all out. 7-day free trial, link in the description. Time to grab all of this data, buddy. I'm excited.
Oh my. Yeah, we're lower on Hunter than I expected.
Okay.
Thought he would come up a little bit more. Ownership also updated.
I'm going to get that all up on the screen right now so we can talk through what that looks like, what our changes were, what the impact is to the rest of these guys. Because on a day where I didn't really expect to get to any news, we did get some news. Because I kind of assumed Mitchell played all day, and we didn't really have anything else to wait on at that point, but now we do.
Merrill news, I'm late. He's out. So Merrill's out. So we've updated everything. Everything you're looking at, it's still just kind of waiting for it to flip over. Sam Merrill is out. So we've done some changing here on the back end. I'm running a sim here, and again, I want to get to what I am
just waiting on the boom bust tool to refresh. It should be sometime in the next 30 seconds. But once that populates with ownership, I can grab it and put it up on the screen.
Perfect.
I'm guessing everything that I've been sharing for DraftKings is going to be largely similar, other than I'm going to get to a little bit more of the late game. It was 50-50 projected for our public ownership. Dead even split across both games. I had it at 53-47 to the late game. I'm guessing I end up 60-40. I'm curious to see where it actually stands now for the public. All right. Boom Bust tool open and updated. So I'm exporting that right now. Done. All right. When I refresh this, everything on the screen in terms of ownership will be updated accordingly to everything that is on the site. I've got Cleveland still pulled up right now on the DraftKings side, and you can see that wasn't a huge move. 44% to Mobley, 34% to Garland, 30 for Mitchell and Strus, 20 to 25 on Allen and Hunter. We're still not really seeing much on Jerome, Wade, or Okoro. And then on the FanDuel side, you're getting a bit more on Garland, Mitchell, Mobley. Strus is still there. Allen's still there. Hunter still there. Again, not much else from the bench. Will Javonte Green get run playable? No. Knew you'd ask, though. Stay off my grass. You're excellent at picking like the 12th dude seriously. But no, we do not have him projected to play in any way unless everybody drops for the Cavs, at which point their season is over.
Yes. All right. I'm running
my stim right now. I'm excited.
Me too. I'm just so curious where I'm going to land on some of these guys. I mean, one of the things that changes, I mean, obviously I wanted to do a little bit of a tweak here with Hunter specifically. I think it should be all right. I mean, he went up like only 3%. That seems a little surprising to me because I do think Ty Jerome stays pretty flat no matter what. God, it's just such an interesting way of putting this together. I mean, obviously foul trouble can occur too. I'm just talking out loud in the back of my head where it's just like there's some ways that I maybe boost Ty Jerome when we get to it, but probably not in like any kind of a substantial noticeable way. Oh yeah. All right. So I am really not playing Aaron Nesmith and Andrew Nembhard anymore. Good Lord.
Okay.
I was just a little bit under the field. Now I'm way under the field. Still playing a little bit of Benedict Mathurin, still playing a little bit of Obi Toppin. But TJ McConnell's still going to be my indie stand, it looks like. Yep, Miles Turner, definitely my indie stand, 52%. So that's cool. Oklahoma City, going to be my must play well team, but I feel pretty confident about that one. Mobley going to be a huge part of my lineups here as well. I'm pretty happy with what I'm looking at. So I'm ready to rock whenever you are. I'm going to paste this over.
All right. Well, you do that. And then I'm going to do this. There we go. It is nuke of the nighttime. You guys know the drill here. I think I did pretty good yesterday with Julius Randle. No problems with that one, right? That's fine.
That's beautiful. Good Lord, that's good.
Who you got, brother?
Just kind of looking at my lineups at the moment, and I do think that there's a world where we get everybody talking about, and you see it in not just YouTube chat, you see it online. Whenever I post a bet ticket of something, oh, his arm hurts, he's not going to play well. Oh, his leg, did you see Karl Anthony Towns broke his finger, Josh? Did you see that? Like, I don't care about stuff like that. I just know that they're down 3-1. They're playing in the early game. And I think there's a way where a $9,100 Donovan Mitchell just ends up a lot lower than he should be here. The guy was playing scorched earth through 3 games of this series, put up must-have, gotta-have-it scores in 2 of the 4. You tell me he plays basketball today, and I'm just playing a ton of him here. This is like Cleveland playing to keep the construction of their team. You know, everybody hits the panic button pretty early these days in this NBA environment that we're in, where it's like, oh, if you're not the best team, you have to change something. But like, at the same time, I really think Donovan Mitchell has had a pretty impressive offensive series. Defensively, still lacking in some areas. He'll always be that way throughout his entire career. But guess what? We're playing DFS today. Donovan Mitchell's playing basketball. And I think that there's enough people that keep his ownership down to that 30% range or below the 30% range where we have him projected. Nuke of the night, Donovan Mitchell.
Dorian O'Guns with a super chat. Quick reminder, player compare tool, totally free at stokastic.com. 1v1s and 2v2s with the exact same answer you'll get from me. SGA and Toppin is the answer to this one.
SGA and Toppin for sure. Even though I love
I have no idea what site it is, so another reason to just go directly to the player compare tool and use that one yourself. Totally free. Again, stokastic.com, player compare tool, 1v1s and 2v2s, DraftKings and FanDuel costs you absolutely nothing. And you get it for the right site, because if that was FanDuel, I would have no idea. Nuke time. My exposures that are on the screen are the correct exposures. I have my lineups in. But I might make a little bit of a tweak, because currently the guy that I would say is my nuke is not who I want to be my nuke. My most over-the-field guy is Nikola Jokic, but I'm not giving that out because that feels cheap, and I don't want to do that. My second most over-the-field guy, though, is Cason Wallace. Wow. Does make me very nervous. It does so happen, like, I've got 75% of Jokic and 63 of SGA, so I'm not surprised to have Cason Wallace in this spot. You know what? I've been repping OKC. I'm going to do it again today. Cason Wallace is the nuke of the night. His cheapness gets me Jokic, and it gets me Shea, and it gets me all of the fantasy points in a competitive matchup.
Look at you. I'm playing a lot of Aaron Wiggins. I think we've established that. I'm going to try to kind of zig while you zag. I've no issue with
23% Aaron Wiggins. Nuke.
Okay. That's
nice. Not with you.
Okay, that makes me happy. All right. I'm going to be right around or maybe a little bit under when it's all said and done here. Yeah, 24%. Yeah, I'll get a little bit of him here. I mean, he's sitting right around 21% there. Aaron Wiggins, yeah, 24% is where I had him at. I was a little bit overweight. I'll probably just get a little bit more Wallace with you here when it's all said and done, but no problem with that. Like playing some different game scripts with that one specifically.
I'm curious, how many lineups do I have of Jokic and Shea together? Because I think it's probably a lot.
Not a lot for me, because the Jokic piece, man. I'm just go ahead.
I have 58 of 150 with both of them. That is 39%. I have 90 with one or the other. And oddly enough, I have just 2 lineups where neither one of them are in it.
That's wild. Just 2 of 150 on that. That's wild. All right. We got 6 minutes. Good to know. Check
out Discord, see if we have any messages I'm missing here.
Yeah,
who choked Merrill in the locker room?
What?
The Q tag. Well, the out guy for Merrill.
Yeah.
Biggest fades. We definitely need to hit on that. I've got quite a few. None of them fun for me. Biggest fade of the day is $9,100 Donovan Mitchell. Second biggest fade of the day, $8,400 Tyrese Halliburton. And then it is 3 more Pacers. So go Cavs, I guess.
I'm telling you, I can't wait till we get to the flip of Donovan Mitchell. I'm going to either be very smart or very stupid. So far, I've been pretty good at knowing when somebody's going to come in under where they're projected. Like the Evan Mobley one last Friday was like automatic. This one, I'm not as sure of, but like I got to think that the public isn't going to just automatically click on Donovan Mitchell. If he ends up sub 25%, I'll feel vindicated. Like in the $20 and the $4, like I'll feel pretty vindicated by that. Who would you rather play? Because you said he's your largest stand, Halliburton or Mitchell?
I mean, I have one lineup with Halliburton and 7% of Donovan Mitchell, so I'm apparently quite negative on both. I would rather play Tyrese Halliburton, even though I have a little bit less of him than Mitchell.
Oh, man.
On the off chance that, since they're in the similar ownership range, I'd rather go to Halliburton because he doesn't have the injury risk that Mitchell may have today.
Okay. But I think that's going to
But I don't have either of them. They're my 2 biggest fades. So I hope they both blow.
Yeah. The guy who had an MRI on his ankle yesterday seems like a great nuke. Guess what? I'm doing all right. I think...
I'm guessing that MRI came back negative.
Yeah. He's starting down 3-1. I feel pretty good about his playing time, barring the injury that everybody else is already very, very aware of. So let me just throw it out there again. Donovan Mitchell, nuke of the night.
I mean, I hope you are next level wrong. Because if he's the nuke of the night, I am drawing to a very narrow outcome.
Yeah, you got 7% of live lineups is what it sounds like.
Yeah. I hope chat can really give you the business on this one, because that one's not going to be beneficial to me in any way.
My last two, Evan Mobley and TJ McConnell, and they both just absolutely nuked beyond nuked in their spots. So go team. Let's keep it going.
So you're due for one to suck?
Yeah, there you go. That's the spirit. That's what we're looking for. Thanks, pal. Really appreciate you.
Look, man,
I always hope Eric is wrong. Fuck you, CW89.
I can't advocate for you because I don't have nearly enough. If I were around the field, I wouldn't say a word, but like my fade of Donovan Mitchell here is important.
Yeah.
Because
you were also 33% under on Strus. Guess what? I won a lot of money on that slate. I'm just fine. It feels great. Language, don't tell me what to do. Sotex, don't tell me what to do. Anyway, you do need to head over to Stokastic playback channel right now. Playback.tv/Stokastic. We're gonna be rocking. Oh yeah, no. Let's get that out of here.
Got him. Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, playback, man.
Good Lord.
It's the best. It's so much fun to watch the games. As weird as it sounds, that little pop-up that tells you what happened in the basket, like immediately after it, is such an amazing help for watching the games. You can subscribe to our playback channel. Watch the playoff games for the rest of the season along with us. And even when we're not there, we just have to have the game on. You can also get a discount on a single sport DFS package at Stokastic if you sign up for the playback sub. Very simple. Just email our support team, support@stokastic.com, and you'll get I believe 50% off a month promo code if you sign up for playback.
It's very useful.
Chris, yes, I think you're completely right there. I'll see you in playback in 45 seconds. I should actually check to see if I did upload my lineups.
It's always helpful.
It appears that I did. You always get a little nervous. It sucks. Last man in, Mathurin versus Hunter. What, into the Thunderdome? 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. Last time it was Mathurin that left.
Oh, man. I have more Indy Cleveland than I was expecting on this slate.
My breakdown, final data, it's 50-50 to the public, and I have 63% to the late game. Probably a little bit more than I would have actually wanted, if I'm being honest.
All right. Well,
we are there.
This is done. It is what it is. Hands are off. I'm ready to get out of here. I'm very, very nervous about everything that's about to happen in this first game. But go TJ McConnell, that is for sure. Go Donovan Mitchell, that is for sure. Go Evan Mobley. That is for damn sure for both of us, I think. So
yes,
go team. Let's go have ourselves a night. And always good to kick it. Obviously good to chat. I love when Eric gets pissed. No, I'm not pissed. I was just having fun. Got to be able to take it. You got to be able to take it. If you can give it in chat without a face out there, you got to be able to take it too. And I'm just making sure, checking in on everybody.
Alrighty, everybody. Playback.tv/Stokastic. Myself and Greg Ehrenberg watching the games, hanging out, talking everything that we could possibly think about for the next hour. Good luck, everybody. See you there.